Yo, welcome back to the Heat Check. But as is customary, we're going to have a little bit of an unboxing before we get to the sneaker releases of the week, which actually include Kim Kardashian, which is not a sentence that I thought I would ever say, especially when it comes to sneakers. But we'll get to that a little bit later. First, let's hop into these. So this is Kyrie's new shoe. It's the Kyrie 3. I went to the opening of the new Antai store that's out in Beverly Hills. And as part of that grand opening, or soft opening, I should say, is they gifted us with this shoe, the Chinese New Year colorway of the Antai Kyrie 3. And as you see, it comes in a really dope box. Has all of this yellow. Here it has this hit of orange with some of the Kai lettering there as well. And pretty cool for those of you that don't know your sizes in other countries. You have the US, UK, and all of that information there on the back as well. But enough about the box. Let's actually get into the sneakers because they did a really good job with these. So the box comes, you have the Kyrie logo there. Always love to see that. And then the tissue paper is branded. Here are the shoes, get the shoes out here. But the tissue paper is branded as well. And that looks like this is the platform or the pattern, sorry, that they use on the outsole of these shoes for Kyrie. So let's get into those real quick. As you see here, the primary colors are this yellow, this gold, and this red that really hold up this design and really make this design pop. I mean, it looks absolutely fantastic in my eyes. I think they did a good job of putting this together and making a sneaker that celebrates Kyrie but also celebrates Chinese New Year. Now, the inspiration is supposed to be fireworks. That's why you see like these red streaks here that kind of form the Antai logo, but really it's supposed to be like fireworks bursting into the air. So you have those hits of that stitching there, as we've seen with all of Kyrie's shoes. Like the material and the craftsmanship are super on point. They do not mess around when it comes to Kyrie's shoes. They really put together a really nice package. Everything seems on point. No stitches out of place. There's no glue, anything like that. So if you're a big Kyrie fan, just know that his Antai product is top notch. It's some of the best that we can get out there. So let's take a little quick look at the construction here. So you have an overlay that stretches from here on the side that goes around the toe as well. And you see it a little bit here along the laces and along the heel. So basically this is giving you an extra level of protection in those areas, especially here at the toe. So you have that extra material on top of the stitching and the material that you have here for the rest of the upper. The laces, pretty nice with that gold and that white mixed in there. And then you have Kyrie's logo there on the heel, which actually looks great as well. One of the really nice details that they put on the heel is they have that stitching there on the heel that looks really great, and it pops on the inside as well. So again, when it comes to the construction, they really knock it out of the park and make sure you get really high quality materials. You have pony hair here on the tongue as a little extra because it's the year of the horse. So you have that little extra there. And then they did like a little stitching pattern here with the Kyrie logo that you don't usually see on his shoes. And again, the red stitching, that whole firework sort of inspiration of things going up into the air and bursting, you have it expressed there with the stitching. Just again, really well put together and really well done. For those that love the details, you can see there on the heel there's some writing for Kyrie's alphabet that they have there. They have a little hit of Kyrie's logo there, right there on the lace stay that looks really well. And then the gold hits here. Obviously the gold hits on the side, the gold hits on the heel, and then the gold hits that go throughout the midsole. Something else really cool that they've done with these is they add a subtle reference to Kyrie and his dad. So Kyrie is referred to as Little Mountain in his community. So if you see there, you see this is the Little Mountain, and then there is the Big Mountain. And they incorporate these two into the design as a performance aspect as well. So this is going to give you that extra little bit there on the side. When you try to bank over to the left, this will hold you inside. So you have the Big Mountain and the Little Mountain. Big Mountain, Little Mountain. Really cool touches there. On the flip side, on the outsole, you have this complete outsole that's inspired by Kyrie in the way that he moves around the court. It's inspired by rivers and the flow of motion, which again, if you've seen Kyrie play, you know how well he moves on the court. Looks really great, in my opinion, a really great touch. to add to the traction. The rubber feels really great, feels pretty sticky. I feel like you could actually play in these outside and you wouldn't have to worry about it wearing down really quickly. Sometimes the rubber on basketball shoes are really made more for inside, and it's really soft and malleable, which is great when you're playing on the court because you have that extra traction. But if you play in them outside, it's going to tear up pretty quickly. But with this shoe, this rubber feels sturdy enough that you can play with it outside and it's not just going to tear up pretty easily. But that also speaks to this outside layer on this overlay that they have here around the lace stays, around the side, which is going to help keep you locked in and also help you when you're playing outside so that it doesn't tear through the mesh material that you have on the rest of the shoe. So something else to kind of keep in mind. Finally, they have, I shouldn't even say finally because there's so much more to this shoe. You have a carbon fiber plate here, and that's going to give you that rigidity on the inside when you're trying to bank and when you're trying to turn. It's going to give you that extra little pop, and that's sitting beneath the nitro foam that Anta uses. So you have that extra Anta, or I shouldn't say Anta, you have that extra nitro foam that Anta uses there, and you can see it here sitting right below the outsole. So you have that, you have the outsole, you have that foam, then you have that carbon fiber plate. Now they also do a really good job with the insoles over at Anta, and these are the little things that as a basketball player that you look for in your shoe when it comes to performance. Having a comfortable midsole, having a comfortable insole, having great traction. These are all things that should matter to you and that should make a difference to you when you're picking out your sneakers. It goes beyond just the aesthetics, especially when you want to perform on the court. And as you can see here, and I'll pull this out here, you get that same sort of nitro foam on the midsole as well. So this is really just backing up that whole concept of giving you a complete package from Anta when it comes to what they put inside their shoes. So you see here, you still have that nitro foam there, and then you have the Kyrie logo there on the inside as well. One of the final details before we get to the releases that are coming this week is it says here, started in my backyard, this billion-dollar dream. And this speaks to Kyrie's roots of starting playing basketball in his backyards and where he is now. And it also speaks to the founder of Anta. He started basically selling shoes on the streets when he was in China, and it grew to what it is now with Anta. So kudos to them as well. Now, the bad news that I have about these, outside of the Kyrie shield that comes with every pair, these are sold out on the website. However, if you are in California, or if you're in LA to be more specific, you can go to their Beverly Hills store. They just opened up their Beverly Hills store, and they have these pairs there. It's right next to the Fila store. So if you want to grab a pair of these, you can grab them. They're $135. And again, just really well made. The craftsmanship, everything is top notch. And it's a signal to me of what they're doing over there at Anta and how well they're thinking about the consumer and thinking about the basketball player and really putting together one of the best products that you can get. Anyway, so this, again, Kyrie 3 Chinese New Year, $135, sold out on the website, but you can get them over at the store in Beverly Hills. Without further ado, let's get to the releases of the week, which again includes Kim Kardashian. Down on my sofa, snacks in my hand. All right, here you go. Okay, so let's get to the releases of the week. Hope you guys like that Chinese New Year. I really like that colorway. Anyway, starting things off. So we've been covering this on Hard Pass, but Kim Kardashian's first sneaker collab with Nike is here, and it's going to have a lot of interested eyes on it to see how well they perform. It's a new take on the Air Rift with a slimmer profile and neutral colors, and I think this one might end up being a big deal. So you have the women's Skims Nike Air Rift in dark tan on Monday for $150, but you can also get it in black and you can get it in deep brown as well if that's more of your thing. I like these colorways. They fit the Skims sort of profile. So if the Air Rift is something that you're into and you also like Skims, or you like Kim Kardashian for that matter, this could be something on your radar. It has a little bit of the Skims branding there on the strap, but otherwise it's pretty much just a Nike Air Rift with like soft tone colors. So let me know, is this something that you guys are into? And at $150, this is a great entryway for Kim. And we all know they're going to compare this to the other person that she had, I should say, a relationship with that also did things at Nike. But I think this is a totally separate thing. This is a totally different audience. And even though this may not be culture related, I still think this is going to bubble up, but we'll see. Moving on. We have a skate shoe from Bronx Skate Girl on the Nike SB Dunk. This is on Tuesday for $140. Now, I might not be a New Yorker, but even I can tell that this special sneaker from Bronx Girl Skate is inspired by the mini train lines in New York without even looking at the graphic on the outsole. So this is my one opportunity. I feel like I can say bing bong, and it feels pretty accurate. And you can see it on the overlays here, the piping in this green and the orange, and then you have a little bit of red back there. I think it's a pretty cool concept, and I imagine this black is supposed to be like the asphalt. It's a cool concept. I'm not a skater anymore, at least, but I would definitely rock these. I really like the vibe that Nike SB put together with these. They did a really great job. Now, moving on for the women, you have the Nike Air Superfly Mock in silver and black. These are going to drop on Tuesday for $105. And then for you Disney fans, this is going to be a pretty big drop, and this is for Disney adults or Disney kids, but whatever. So this collab is going back to the original crew with a variety of clogs in a full family run that ranges from kids to women's and men size runs. So you can first get the women's Disney Crocs Classic Clog Mickey Mouse. This is going to be on Tuesday for $70. You can also get Goofy for $70 as well on Tuesday. And then you can get the Minnie Mouse colorway on Tuesday for $70 as well. Again, these are all for women technically, so those are going to be more in women's sizes. But if you want to get one for the kids, they have one in Minnie Mouse, and that one's going to cost you $50. For us, for the guys, if you want to get your hands on one of these, you can get them in the Chip and Dale colorway, which is probably the most fun of the pack, I would say, because it has all the fur and everything on it. And then you even get the tail back there. I don't know if you can really wear these outside because of that fur. I feel like it would get really matted and messed up pretty quickly. But I think it's still a pretty cool concept. All right, next up, New Balance has the 2010 in Tornado and Faded Black. This is dropping on Wednesday for $160. Basically a pretty simple colorway, but I feel like you could really get a fit off with these, especially with the materials and the way they layer the materials on the upper here. If you mix that with the right outfit, this could be really dope. And we know it's going to be comfortable because it's a New Balance, so you have all that going. Next up on the basketball side of things, we have the Sabrina 3. This is dropping in the pink Oxford colorway. This is going to be on Wednesday for $135. I like this colorway, and I like the touch of teal or green or emerald, maybe that is, that they have there on the tongue. Really makes this colorway pop. It's a good look for Sabrina, and her shoe is doing really well. We know a ton of people are wearing it, or I should say a ton of players are wearing it, and that's a sign because they don't have to wear her shoes. They could wear a bunch of different shoes that Nike offers, but you see a lot of players wearing Sabrina's, and I feel like that's a continuance of that Kobe love that, you know, they have there over at Nike. All right, next up, we have the Nike ACG Ultrafly Trail Hyper Clemson. I'm not a trail runner, but I would definitely rock these. These look super dope. They're going to be available on Thursday. They're going to cost you $260. Going back to the New Balance, we have the 210 here in Dust Shadow. This is going to be on Thursday for $160. But this is part of a pack because they also have 204L in Dust Shadow as well. And those are going to be on Thursday for $120. So if you want something a little more technical, you can get the 2010 for $160. But if you want something that's a little more casual, you can get the 204L, and that's going to be on Thursday for $120 as well. For you LeBron fans, we have the Out for Redemption of the 23. This is dropping on Friday for $210. And after a recent run of colorways that, let's be honest, felt odd and didn't always click with the theme it claimed to represent, we've got the Olympic-style LeBron 23 that remembers the 2008 Redeem Team. It's decked out in a patriotic blue upper with laser-etched graphics that bring to mind the United We Rise collection from that time. This one can definitely stand out and be at the top of the medal stand, and this is a great medal stand shoe. I kind of think this should be something that they would release around the Olympics or around summertime, but we're getting it now a little bit early, so maybe this is something that we can see as more of an all-star nod. I don't know. Just thought this would be more all-star. Love the detailings with the gold and the blue. This looks really great, and those graphics on the side are incredible. Like, they did a fantastic job. Look at that. Next up, We have a little bit more from the folks over at Nike for Valentine's Day sneakers, and this one with an all red and all black uppers with tiny embedded hearts. The black is an interesting choice, but I like it for the vibes. So we saw this with the Air Force One. I believe it was released last week. So seeing it here on this one on the Air Max 90 looks really, really dope. So the Air Max 90 Valentine's Day red is dropping for $145. You can also get the Air Max TL 2.5, and this is going to be $190 on Friday. They also have that in black for the same price, $190. And then the women, they're going to have a Dunk Low Valentine's Day, and it has that nice bit of like burgundy there at the bottom with the touch of pink. And then the swooshes are really nice. If you pay attention, the swoosh have some detailing there. It looks like it's like a fur or some kind of matted material. It has a little bit of shimmer and a little bit of gloss to it. For you foodies, we have the Wagyumafia Atmos Puma Palermo. This is dropping Friday for $240. So if you've been on beef social media, or if that's part of your algorithm the past few years, you've probably seen clips of the Wagyumafia, the exclusive Japan-based restaurants by Chef Hisato Hamada that loves to party while you're eating the greatest and most expensive tiny pieces of meat you'll ever have in your life. Well, they've checked off a huge box on their bucket list because they've teamed up with Puma for a premium rendition of the Palermo. While co-branding is pretty minimal on this glossy sneaker that's inspired by wingtips, it's limited to only 500 pairs. And since it's an Atmos collab as well, it means you're really going to have some connections, or going to have some connections if you want to pick this pair up. You're going to have to make some calls if you want to make this happen. But it's a cool look, and I like the wingtip look there for the addition on the Palermo. So this is Chef Hamada, and look at that, little tiny pieces of beef, but it got them a sneaker collab, and you can't complain about that. It looks really good, just really great materials on that one. All right, next up we have the New Balance 204L Valentine's Day. Again, it's coming next month, so you have this one on Friday for $120, and obviously it's a bit more of a casual shoe than it is like a premium shoe. For you Halle fans, they have the Puma Halle 1 dropping in gray on Friday for $130. And then on the Kobe side of things, we actually have the Kobe Year of the Horse on Saturday for $200. Now, I'm not going to lie. When I heard that Nike was making the Year of the Horse Protro for the Nike Kobe 8, I thought it was going to be a new colorway. The decision to bring back the 2014 original is, I would say, an interesting choice, but it's also one I can't knock because fans who missed out on the first time will now get a second chance at also giving their kids a chance to rock them as well. So this pair will come in full family sizing, so I think that's a good thing. Next up, we have the Jordan 1. This one's pretty simple. It's in medium olive. This is dropping on Saturday for $145. I like it for the vibes. Kind of feels very Travis Scott-ish, if that makes sense. For you Kobe 9 fans, we have the Kobe 9 EM. I wasn't the biggest fan of the EM version of the Kobe 9, but again, I love the Kobe line, period. So you have this one in hydrogen blue that's dropping on Sunday for $190. And most people remember the Nike Kobe 9 for their Elite Flyknit editions. There was also a huge swath of general releases that featured Nike's engineered mesh tech, and we are now starting to see some fresh new colorways that were not during the original run. Hydrogen blue might not be for everybody, but this one is a neat look, and it kind of gives a little bit of Dodger vibes. So you see where that's coming from. For the Nike A1, we have the white sapphire colorway that's dropping on Sunday for $115. I love the purple hit. I love the way they use that gradient down there. So if you are a fan of the Nike A1, this one should definitely be on your radar, as it's a pretty cool colorway, and it kind of has some nice spring vibes, almost Easter vibes on there. And then finally for this week, we have the Adizero Prime X Evo. This is dropping in white and black on Sunday for $500. Yeah, that's not a typo. This is a runner that's designed to beat the 100-kilometer record, so let's reserve this one for the serious runners in your life. If that's you, well, this is one. You have got an ultralight mesh textile upper with a whopping 50-millimeter stack of Light Strike Pro Evo foam. Like I said, you better be the type to get your ass up at 5 in the morning and get to a run in the day before the day even starts if you want to buy this shoe. And then, not saying that you have to if you want to buy this shoe, but I'm just saying that's the kind of feel that you want with something like this. Anyway, those are the releases for this week. As always, I appreciate you guys. Let me know if there's something that I missed. Put it down in the comments below so the people that are watching don't miss out on it. As always, I appreciate you. And let me know, what do you got? Oh, this is not the shoe. They're over here. That's just the box. What do you guys think of the Chinese New Year colorway of the Kyrie 3? I like it. Again, $135 at the Beverly Hills store. This is not sponsored or anything like that. Just they hooked me up and sent me a pair, and I really liked the way they came out, so I wanted to give you guys a look. Anyway, as always, I appreciate you. YouTube's going to recommend some videos right here, and, I figured why not watch those, because YouTube thinks that's what you want to watch. All right, y'all. I'll see you soon. Peace.